Okay, Auditorium 25, February. Uh, we'll talk about the best and worst, latest or final films in a franchise.
Hmm.
Why don't I start off with the best? Return of the King,
Mm.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it probably in 15 years. If yeah, I think more than I think I haven't seen it in 20 years. I think I last time I saw it was probably 04, 05, which is probably the first time I saw it.
Hmm.
I just remember the Lord of the Rings movies being very long, very dense,
Hmm.
but I know this one had a lot more battles, so it was more engaging.
Hmm.
You of course have the Rohirrim, Scream. That's the final battle. Very Game of Thronesy, right?
Hmm.
And you know, and also the side quest of Gollum and Frodo and stuff climbing the thing,
Yeah.
and just like a lot of stuff like I was too young to understand a lot of those kind of side things, but I liked all the like I didn't understand the Mad King and the kind of worm tongue and everything like that and all that. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on ROTK.
Yeah. Yeah. So literally, that was the first one on my list too. Like of the best.
All right, great. So
So,
already
um,
overlapping early on.
yeah, yeah. I mean, also same with me. I haven't seen it for many, many years, but
Yeah.
definitely like when looking at like the classic, like iconic films, like that one I think is widely recognized as a really, really strong trilogy overall. But the last one was just really good.
Hmm.
I don't remember too many details either, but yeah, I do remember the action was good. That was like exciting. It's um, just overall done really well. It's hard to remember really, but I just know it was good. I remember we even like my family bought the DVD, but I don't think we ever actually ended up watching it again just because it was so long.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah, it was long. Well,
I do want to say that I am not a fan of the Lord of the Rings movies. Um, I guess I
mm,
was too young to understand them. And also now when you have Game of Thrones and House of Dragon and everything, even though they're cinematically derivative, right, of what came before. Um, Something of the Lord of the Rings, I think the all the Elven and all the politics, um, all that kind of the ring stuff, not
mm,
understanding that too much. Um, yeah, and it was just it's so early on in the 2000s that they just made it in, I think 4 or 5 years. Every like the whole books. So then I was just just there's a lot of I guess lack of CGI or
mm,
just yeah, I don't I know people think they're some of the best movies made.
yeah.
Um I don't feel that way.
Mm,
Just because they're too long and
mm,
maybe just hard to adapt those books as well to
right.
film. And I guess for the time they were really, really good. But I guess with recency bias,
Mm,
when you watch something like now Game of Thrones and and that just being television with a smaller, you know, smaller budgets, but
mm,
um, yeah, you just kind of go, you know, yeah, that's like my kind of controversial opinion.
yeah. No,
Like,
I agree. It makes sense. Like when you watch like an older film, like
you're right.
for sure with yeah, with like recent films and just improvement and technology and everything, like obviously, yeah, well, if you were to look back at it, it probably won't be as good if we watch it today. It's kind of like watching the original like Star Wars or something. I've
Mm,
actually never seen the first Star Wars, but people will say it's like amazing. But I'm
mm.
sure it was amazing at the time. Like nowadays, I don't know. I'm not actually that interested in watching it back because It's just so
That's
old, you know.
that's a beautiful comparison to make, actually. I
Yeah.
think Lord of the Rings is just dense. It's almost Shakespearean, but also, fantastical. And if you actually like compare to Star Wars, and I'm not a fan of the 70s movies and all that. Like I'm not, I didn't grow up on that. But if you
Mm-hmm.
take Star Wars, there's just a more different pacing and
Mm-hmm.
different themes that I would say if you did want to watch Empire Strikes Back or something, it would be more palatable than any of the Lord of the Rings movies.
Interesting.
Yeah, because the Lord of the Rings movies take this place in this kind of 2000s thing where it feels more very playish, like everyone's dressed up and they try to do a lot of practical effects, and basically with doing all the kind of practical effects and stuff, they lose out on like it's kind of like the cinematic feeling of those 70s movies, and then in the
Yeah.
2000s they kind of it kind of, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Maybe I'll stop saying it, but yeah, that kind of idea where it's almost like in television shows, the older like sitcoms were, you know, looked, when they moved to video for TV and then things looked hyper realistic.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a Lord of the Rings. It is cinema. It's still shot, I guess, on film, but
Yeah.
because of all the kind of like costuming and the set designing and stuff, it kind of gives a more like hyper realistic vibe. And with cinema, you kind of want to lose that. While with Star Wars,
Interesting.
if you look like a photo of a Star Wars, like Empire Strikes Back or something, you
Mm-hmm.
feel more like cinema or something that only like, and I don't know, they of course use practical, but they also had like plates or something. They used to call them matte plates for the CGI. Okay, you know what? I'm not making any sense, but let's compare to like, I guess, Harry
No,
Potter.
you're making sense. You're making sense.
Yeah, let's compare to like Harry Potter. Those movies are also made in the 2000s, but they're very watchable. I just saw them last October from 1, 2, 3, and they're very watchable. And they use a mix of practical and CGI, but because they lean more on CGI, it feels like more palatable. While like Lord of the Rings, like even Gandalf and all, you feel like someone's in a wig.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like everyone's kind of with the
Uh,
ears of the
I see what you
Hobbit.
mean. Yeah.
Yeah, like and with Harry Potter, there are some creature, of course, effects that are done practical, but most of the time, because everything was done on a green screen, though it was the 2000s, it has a more palatable vibe. So yeah, I'll just stop.
Right.
I'll just stop it there,
Yeah. Yeah.
so we don't lose the audience. But I always have this feeling of Lord of the Rings and not wanting to watch it because of this thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's almost like, how now on TV you have this hyper frame rate where even something like a cinematic movie starts looking like video, like a sitcom or like a reality show. I don't know if you noticed that on new TVs, and since the last 20 years, they do hyper 60 frames per second, 4K, and even something like Rush Hour, it looks like you're with them, like you're like watching a documentary rather than a movie, because cinema has like a slower frames and it
Yeah.
looks kind of dirty, right? Like films, they look like they have that filmic vibe, with the grain and everything. So it's kind of like that, where I guess the Lord of the Rings kind of throws me off, and I almost feel like I'm watching like a play.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I'll hand it over to you, because we're overlapping. Maybe just for you can go and you can choose best or worst. We're not no orders here. You can do whatever you feel.
Right. Sure. Sure. Yeah. I'll do best since you did best. And and also there's no rule on it. I guess that in this topic, like it doesn't have to be over, right?
Exactly,
it can be
exactly.
any.
Absolutely, yes. It would have been a cool thing to do trilogies that are over now that I think about
Yeah,
it, because how do they finish a series? But then
right.
I saw that that doesn't give you too much. And then I also saw that nowadays it's such a franchise driven thing, so even like, yeah, it's better to just go
Okay.
with
Yeah, like
whatever you
any
feel.
franchise kind of
Any
thing.
franchise, what is the latest film or the last film, tentatively? Yeah,
Yes.
best or worst, you can go anywhere you want. Um, the floor is yours.
Okay. So I'm gonna go with much more recent then, but one with a long history, long franchise. And the best I think up there would be Alien. And I'm putting that in there because I guess in the latest one would be Romulus, Alien Romulus.
Mm,
And it was like I've seen it and I thought it was. I think we talked about this film in the past probably, but I thought I did really enjoy it. It was a little bit like more fresh, even though it has such a long history. Um, like the Alien movies have generally been pretty good throughout the years. Like I probably haven't seen. I've seen most of them, but ever since like I don't know when the first one was in the 70s or something, 70s, 80s, like
right,
those ones were already good, and those are also like even though they're old, like the palatability of those ones, trying to rewatch those is actually quite good.
right,
And then we had a lot of like other ones. There's stuff like Prometheus, which I enjoyed, and then just kind of everything leading up to Alien Romulus. Like I thought, like just the film in general, the history of the film has been pretty strong, and I quite like the most recent one. So it's rare to keep a franchise still alive in that way, and so I thought they deserve props for that. I don't know what you think.
yeah, totally. I would say, um, Romulus. Personally hated the first half an hour because the Don't Breathe director was trying to set up these teens in a very slasher way that you
Mm,
just hate them. But when it gets into Alien, when it gets into the lore, even using the deep fake of that android from the first Alien movie, the guy, and using his face again, the horror, and just the tension in it from like them trying to turn on things in closed rooms, and that alien kind of coming down into that water room and them running out of it but not making it back to the ship because one of them was still, um, you know uh, held back and stuff like
mm,
that, and then the slow demise of everyone is super cool. And yeah, it just kind of it's almost like the Force Awakens of
mm,
aliens, similar to how the Force Awakens kind of redid
mm.
Star
Yeah.
Wars. This did it, but much better, new faces, and then the twist with the the alien human hybrid and that coming in and everything, was super cool. The twist with the one of the girls is pregnant, and
Mm.
I,
Oh
f-
yeah. Yes.
I found it a very very fun, cool set pieces, action, adding to the lore to the universe, and scary as well. Yeah, and like you said, the alien movies are so palatable, like the early ones, even though they're all practical and stuff. Um, so yeah, I really liked Romulus. I do agree that it's a very good, almost I would call it a requel, like a reboot sequel to the
Hmm.
franchise. So yeah, and I know if you want to talk about Aliens 3, I know that it wasn't too loved by everyone, which is the like Aliens 3 is
Hmm.
the like actual trilogy ending of Aliens.
Hmm. Right. Right.
But I don't know much about it. So
Hmm.
yeah. So cool. So that's two best. Um so we're doing good. We're killing the game with the best.
Nice. Awesome.
Why don't I go with the worst? And
Yeah.
there might be disagreements, so yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll go with the James Bond Daniel Craig series. I'm gonna
Oh.
stop
Okay.
I'm gonna stop at Skyfall. I want to say, for me, there's two kind of trilogies or things. One is Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, and Skyfall, and then there is Spectre, which kind of reboots the Daniel like Craig for me, and then ends with like No Time to Die.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something between Spectre and No Time to Die? No, I don't think
I
so.
don't.
Let me find out. One quick second.
Let's see.
I was just reading about all the James Bonds recently, like the George Lazenby and Pierce Brosnan and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me try to look that up too.
Yeah, so I was just recently reading all those. No, I think I think
Yeah, no, there isn't. Spectre and then No Time to Die. Yeah, no, that's it.
yeah, Spectre and then No Time to Die and yeah, so basically the my issues with Skyfall are so many. I mean, I find it a boring movie. I find Javier
Or
Bardem.
you mean No Time to Die? Sorry, you said Skyfall just now. But you mean like No Time to Die? You're saying was a boring movie?
No, I'm talking about I'm so. Oh yes,
Oh, you're breaking it into. Okay, I
I'm
see.
breaking it into two and saying that Spectre goes into No Time to Die,
Yes.
but uh, I'm stopping it at
Skyfall.
Skyfall.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so yeah, let's do that. If that's okay for the rules of this
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, for sure.
So for me, because Skyfall was like the trilogy ending for that kind of thing, there was the big bad, and then I just didn't like killing Mam, M.
Mm.
You don't have to kill a character to get Judi Dench to retire.
Yeah.
There's only one cool fight scene in Japan, which was cool. Kind of reminded me of the Dark Knight when the Dark Knight when he steals Chinese uh, the Chinese businessman from China. He does the air thing, so it's kind of one of those buildings where it's like all glass. That's a cool fight scene
Oh, okay.
in Skyfall. But yeah, going to the Skyfall house, doing the house thing, it kind of really took away the fun of Bond. I actually like Quantum. Quantum is a lot of fun. So yeah, it just kind of took away all the fun of the things and killed someone like Judy Dench's character, like, yeah, and then like no one's in that house, like like no one came for backup and stuff like that. It's kind of very strange and yeah, not a fan of Skyfall.
Mm. Interesting. Okay.
And don't like the theme song either.
Oh, haha. Okay.
Yeah.
The Adele song.
The Adele song, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
I
like
thought it
it.
was alright.
Yeah.
No, but I see where you're going with it. I can't say I agree.
Sure.
I did enjoy Skyfall. Generally, I did enjoy most of the James Bond movies. I do see it was different. Like the pacing of the movie and everything was different. Something that I guess I wasn't as impressed with was like how they framed the villain, like the character. Like he was played by Javier Bardem or
Yeah,
something.
Javier
Who's like
Bardem, yeah.
He's a great actor, and he's always really good in his roles. Like
No Country
I
for
like-
Old Men, yeah.
yeah, which okay, that's a different topic. We can get into that. But he's so I found him as a villain. Like as much as I liked his character, like just as a villain,
Too
it just
powerful.
wasn't. He was powerful, but then too easy to kill at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it was just.
It's like take your
was-
pick.
Oh yeah, I wasn't really sure how to feel about him. I almost liked him too. Like I kind of liked him in the movie. That it's like you find yourself sort of in some way rooting for him only in a partial way, in a way that you want him to like he to feel better because he's been through a lot. And yeah, like I think he was really powerful and then just easy to kill. There's just stuff about the villain, like in the writing, that I wasn't a huge fan of. But overall, I thought it was solid. Like not far from the worst, but That's all
Okay,
good.
far from the worst kind of trilogy. You know, No Time to Die is a fantastic movie.
Oh yeah.
Um, it does the personal stuff well. It brings back like some previous bad guy, brings all the characters together. It has some cool scenes. It kind of gives Bond like a tough villain, and Bond has to sacrifice himself. It's like post pandemic. It has that kind of like, even though it didn't bother me post pandemic, like other post pandemic movies that referred to the pandemic, this one was about like touching and passing on like this virus and stuff, which was kind of cool. Huge fan of No Time to Die, and thought that was like a perfect end for this series. So I would say that is the best for me. Yeah, if you want to end the entire Bond, but even end like just the Spectre Bond, because I think it's a different Bond. I think like post Skyfall, I think the Spectre is like almost like a requel, and then we have No Time to Die, so it's almost like a two movie thing. But I feel like that's a complete separate strain
Interesting.
from the first three. Even the writing is different. Even the like the type of Bond is almost different. So yeah, that's how I feel. Sure. So let's move on to you. Yeah.
Yep. For my worst films, okay.
Or
Or
anything,
worst
whatever
class.
you
Yeah.
want. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's go worst. Let's follow that pattern.
Sure.
I'll turn back the clock a little bit, and I'm gonna go with The Matrix. Um,
Okay.
and take it both ways. So there's like the original trilogy, and then there was a reboot.
Right.
So both the last of the trilogy and the reboot I thought were bad.
Okay.
So honestly, okay, when it comes to The Matrix, like the first one I thought was just so good. Like it became like just such a big pop culture thing.
Right.
And it's just such a big movie. Nobody, like very few people not know The Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
But then most people know it by the first one. Like
Mm-hmm.
when you get to the second and the third one, it just goes way downhill. Just in terms of, I don't know what it was.
I think
Like the action is not as good. The writing's just not as good.
They were
They
put
just
out-
had to end.
they were put out too fast.
Yeah.
I think it's just
Yeah.
like too kind of the Lord of the Rings issue, where they just wanted to put the entire trilogy out in like 5 years. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. So yeah, maybe that's
Right.
that's the reason. But yeah, like this is the last one. It was just not very well made. You know, they ended it cool, and
Cool,
then then they rebooted it. Which honestly, I was like curious to see the new one,
Right.
like the Matrix Resurrections.
Got you.
And they took the movie. I don't know if you've seen it, but they took the movie in a different direction. And it had some cool ideas and certain scenes that were interesting, but just overall, it was just weird. Like it was weird. Like I don't even know how to
Yeah.
put it. It just made Neo a totally like much less likable character, and it was just strange. It was really strange.
Interesting.
And I think that just killed the franchise. Like that movie, kind of after watching that, it's like I don't think they're going to be able to save the franchise anymore, and there won't be any more.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I just thought they were bad.
I haven't seen the Matrix trilogy. I didn't like the first Matrix, but I also saw it maybe in 2000, and again, I wasn't as mature or had taste like I do now, and I just didn't understand that movie. And a lot of people love it for bullet time, and again, too young. Never watched any of the other ones. Never watched them later on. I loved Resurrections in a very strange way, because
Okay.
I knew everything about the Matrix from pop culture. So to see it kind of basically be a requel, and how they bring like the original scenes from the Matrix, and you're kind of they derive them back into this movie, and there's this whole kind of meta feeling to it.
Right.
It was almost like a dissection of the Matrix.
Right. No, it's for sure. That is interesting. Yeah.
And there's all these white scenes in cafes, and him having a love, and some of that romantic stuff got to me in a weird way. Sorry about that, but yeah, maybe I'm a little bit, sensitive. But just those scenes in the
Yeah, that's normal.
cafe, him trying to find that girl again, and
Mm,
it was just
mm-hmm.
so. It was just basically a dissection of it where I kind of enjoyed it because all I knew, I'm not attached to the Matrix, so all I knew was the pop culture of the bullet time, and you've seen the scenes of the dojo and everything on YouTube or wherever, the escape from the police in the beginning, whatever, jumping across the roofs and all that. But just to see
Mm-hmm.
this thing kind of like, and then even going to the world, I remember that world from Revolutions or whatever, the disco party world, right? And then he's again in like
Uh,
these, like you see the aliens and he's in a pod and how they break into a pod and it's just super.
right.
It's kind of just like it brings everyone together. It's just like super
Mm,
fun. So in
mm-hmm.
that way, I just loved the movie. Yeah, I came out going like I went in going like, man, I'm just watching this to watch this. I don't really know anything, but I came out being like, that was its own thing.
Mm.
And you see
Yeah,
a
it
lot
very
of
much is. Yes.
you see a lot of filmmakers doing that. They just kind of want to play with their food and they just want to make like a random thing, of their own kind of creation. So I enjoyed it for what it was. I almost felt like it did the trilogy, took all the best things from the trilogy and put them
Mm-hmm.
together, and made me actually want to watch the trilogy, which is a
Cool.
feat. Which is a feat. So
Okay.
but again, I don't have your perspective of coming in having liked it and then being disappointed.
Mm,
You know what I mean? So it's
right, right.
beautiful how the different there's no right or wrong. I feel like there's
Yeah.
beautiful. I mean, there's right or wrong if the movie's bad, like the technically bad and script wise bad, and yeah, there are certain objective things we can say about movies, but and you might even say I objectively feel Resurrections is bad, and I would say like, man, it just had its moments. It
Mm-hmm.
really brought me into the Matrix universe
Right.
where I was
Oh, that's
never in
cool.
it. So yeah. Oh, so yeah. No. But I agree with you. Like I know that I don't know if it's Reloaded or whatever is panned. Like Reloaded or I don't know if it's Revolutions or Reloaded. It's heavily panned. The 2003 movie. So
Mm,
I get it. I get it.
yeah. Yeah.
And you know what? It very well might be. So it because yeah, that's a trilogy. That's the trilogy, right? So yeah.
Yeah, that's that. Revolutions. That's the last one. Yeah.
Revolution. So yeah, it very
Yeah.
well might suck, So and again, I think it's just you trying to churn out so many scripts in so many years and getting
Mm,
everyone done. It happens, You try to chase the money, and this is
mm-hmm.
an original thing, right? So it should have kind of just ended with the Matrix. Because the beautiful thing about Resurrections is it just touches on the Matrix. And
Right.
you're trying to chase the money and create like now you're writing and you're extending the script. It's
Mm-hmm.
hard, right? It's not adapting anything that has like 7 books.
Yeah.
So yeah, and also the Resurrections was coming also from the Wachowskis, right? Siblings from I would say if it's right to say her, she like one of the Wachowski siblings made it and she
Mm-hmm.
had transitioned, right? So basically it's almost like her going back, in a meta way to her past before, you know what I mean? Like
Mm,
just to bring that kind of social commentary to it, for her to look back on it and then dissect it. Maybe when she wrote that movie, it was very male oriented, and then she kind of made it more gender equal, I guess, in Resurrections or taking out all that stuff.
interesting.
That's what
Okay.
and that's not coming from. I'm not that smart. That's coming from me having read a bunch of reviews in that time, years
Right.
ago, and hearing that it is kind of a social because only she came back. Her brother didn't come back. So
Mm,
I think only one of them transitioned. You know what I mean when I say transition. So yeah, so like the so it's almost like yeah, it's kind of like it's personal and it's kind of a dissection in a meta way of like your past and your past creation and how you contend with it and what themes you put in it, and then kind of almost like rewriting those themes.
Mm.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've read about it and stuff. And then when I reflect on it, I could say, yeah, I understand. You know. Anyways, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
interesting.
it's super.
Yeah.
It is super interesting. But again, it doesn't. I'm not saying that doesn't make it the worst movie for you. No, not at all.
Right, for sure.
Though
Yeah,
these
cool,
are
cool.
a movie supposed should move you for the movie and not for, I believe, not for things outside it.
Yeah.
But a lot
Well,
of people
yeah.
take movies in a social and political way also.
Right.
So I'm just bringing that perspective. So don't, nothing here is a disagreement or, it's not invalidating anyone's perspective. It's just felt like adding that information to the podcast, make
Cool.
the listeners feel that we're
Make our
more
podcast relevant.
more
Yeah.
more intellectual. Yeah, like yeah, more like, oh, these guys are intelligent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, paint us in that light.
Yeah,
Good.
exactly. Yeah, it just came to me right now. I remember reading all that stuff. I'm not that smart, trust me. I do watch a lot of reviews and read when I like a movie, and even when I dislike a movie. Like recently, what did I dislike? Love Hurts, right? I was sending you all these videos.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
man, it's these people are agreeing with me. I'm shocked, And anyway, let's move on. You know what? Let's break the pace and talk about something. I have some honorable mentions which I've not seen,
Okay.
and I don't know what they're
I have
like.
a couple too. Yeah.
Cool. It's
Ones I have
it's
not
stuff like
seen,
it's
but-
stuff like I'm like I've heard they're good or I've heard they're bad, and I just want to list them.
Sure.
I'll say Tokyo Drift. I don't know if anyone's seen it. I've never seen Tokyo Drift. And the Fast Furious franchise has completely changed, but I would say Tokyo Drift is kind of the last movie of that trilogy.
Interesting.
Or is I guess it's not,
Right.
right? Because it's a spin-off, right?
It's more of a spin-off.
Okay.
Like, I think I did watch Tokyo Drift a long time ago.
Okay.
I don't know if I saw the whole thing, so I only saw part of it. So
Okay.
it's hard for me to say.
Great. I'll just delete this thing. And then Ocean's 13. I don't know if you've ever seen Ocean's 13.
I have not.
Okay,
No.
okay. Any thoughts on that last Ocean's movie with Aquafina, Rihanna, the female led one in 2018?
I didn't watch that one either, so
Okay,
I
cool.
can't really say. Have
Gotcha.
you seen it?
Yeah, I think it was like kind of like, and I have no problem with this, like a female led thing. I just thought it was trying to do what they were doing in the 2015 to 2020, kind of like revamping everything and making it more liberal, and still keeping the essence of things. I was okay with it. Making things more inclusive and diverse. Let's say that, and kind of like bringing like inclusivity and diversity to movies and movie franchises, like the Ghostbusters one, with the bridesmaids, basically the bridesmaids cast and everything.
Yes.
So yeah, I think it was just doing that, but I think I liked Aquafina's character. I liked bringing in like the code hacker, and even though that's stereotypical, but just bringing in all these cool things and then having it tie back, because there's an ending scene where I think George Clooney shows up or whatever, like a teaser, and just like I don't have to say if a movie's good or bad if the studio drops any type of franchise going forward, then that either it didn't make money or they just like, yeah. So that's what I could say about that Ocean's 8 movie. But it's such a long time ago. I was okay with it. All right, I'll pass it.
Okay.
Sorry, you had talked about Matrix, right? So
Yeah. And you're doing some honorable mentions of.
yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering if like movies I haven't seen but I heard were really good, like count.
Yeah.
It's
It's just kind of more to throw it out there for completionist for this podcast, so people listening don't go, "Oh, you missed these things." Like, no, we
Yeah,
didn't.
like,
We
what about
didn't. No, we're smart. We know our movies. We just.
Yeah, I mean, like, so, like, the one I feel like if I watched, I would like it and would be on my list, but I haven't seen it, is the third Spider-Man movie, and the most recent one. I just heard so much about it. No Way Home.
Got you.
It's called No Way Home.
Yeah.
because the trilogy was Homecoming, and then Far From Home, and then No Way Home.
Right.
I watched Homecoming and Far From Home, and I loved them. I thought they were really.
They are good.
I really, really enjoyed them.
They are good. Yeah.
Far From Home was amazing. Like, I thought it was amazing. And then everyone that I talked to told me that No Way Home was better than the first two. And I was like, no way. I love Far From Home. So then I haven't seen it, and I really want to see it. It was just annoying because, like, there's certain rights that, like, people bought, like Spider-Man, and then so it's not on Disney Plus. And I don't know where to watch it. I don't remember. I don't have Netflix, but eventually I'll see it. But I do want to see it, and I'm sure it would make my list if I saw it.
So okay, Spider-Man: No Way Home is on my worst movies of the trilogy. Now, but I don't think I can spoil it.
I see.
Because you haven't seen it.
Yes, I haven't.
So, I guess I'll move on then. I mean, I don't want to spoil it, so...
Yeah, don't spoil that one.
Yeah, sure.
I do know they introduced a lot about the multiverse because I watched, like, movies that came after it, and they just kept talking about the multiverse.
I would say it's almost like what Resurrections is to Matrix. No Way Home is to the home trilogy.
I see.
If that makes any sense.
It does.
Okay.
So it's kind of okay.
Yeah, it's just meta. It's
just
meta. It's
meta.
meta.
Okay.
I mean, it's not even a spoiler. If you see if you Google it and you see one poster, I'm surprised you don't know the catch, the hook, because it's everywhere. But okay, if you really don't know the hook, I'm really surprised. But like the gotcha, the spoiler, because it's the most. Yeah, by now, like if you Google it and you see like the movie's preview page on Google, you will. You must have probably seen it at some award show or like a meme somewhere or something.
Yeah, I've seen like memes.
Yeah, exactly.
So I do know about like certain appearances of certain actors.
Exactly.
If that's what you're saying.
Exactly. So if you think about it,
that.
you think about it in almost a meta way, kind of playing with everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's almost like in that way it's dissecting everything, and that's why I didn't like it. Because what you love about Homecoming and Far From Home is the division, is the newness of everything, and to like do this whole multiverse and just like let's talk about everything and let's bring everyone into it. It just kind of reeks of like disingenuity. Let's keep it to the home trilogy. Let's kind of keep it small, like how the whole Far From Home and Homecoming were, and let's just play with these characters. Recently I watched a movie where I complained about the same thing, Captain America, right? Kind of, again, everything is big and this and that and all these other things and you're just kind of like, okay, I mean, it's just stop adapting your own self. Stop plagiarizing your own thing. Like, anyway, that's why I just want for the viewers to know why I didn't like that. But moving on.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I would say Godfather 3. I don't know if you've ever seen it. The Sofia.
No, I haven't.
Sofia Coppola was in it. A horrible movie, horrible acting. That's all we can say. Completely ruins. It comes like 10 years after and completely like ruins the Godfather movies, and it's best forgotten. So moving on, let me give you the floor as well. By the way, just a movie check count. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I have 5, 6, 7. 7 things to talk about. How about you?
No, that's not bad because I didn't have that many.
Okay.
Worst. I had like so let's see,
I'm talking about everything, best and worst. I have 7.
Oh, everything. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I'll say 5.
Okay, cool. So 12.
Yeah, 4-ish, 5. Yeah.
Let's. Okay, sure. Just doing a time check. Cool. Let's just keep going. Yours the floor.
Okay. So back on the main topic then. So best and worst last movies. So I'll go with best. I have to throw in, I guess, in terms of the end of a certain storyline, Avengers Endgame has to be there.
Oh, I forgot that. Okay, perfect. Yeah.
Yes. So for obvious reasons, I mean, but Avengers. That initial plot line was universally quite loved, and I think Infinity War was one of my favorites of very long. And yeah, Endgame I think ended the film really really nicely, really beautifully. And that's like it was meta also, but meta in a good way. Like it was meta done well, and it just did a lot of things well, and a good balance of the action and also the emotion behind it, and the long history of ever since it started with I don't know, I don't know if it was Iron Man or Captain America, one of the first ones. Again, just tying that all together, it was just a great, a wonderful franchise, a wonderful run until Endgame. So that's got to be there.
That's a good one. Yeah, I agree with everything for Endgame. So, yeah. Well, I didn't even think about that. What's your next one?
Yeah. Should I go with best again? Yeah. Okay, I'll go with best. Because go on positive notes. I think I have more best than worst ones. So, okay, actually, it doesn't count because I didn't see the most recent one, but I'm basing this off of the latest one I saw. And we've talked about this in a while back, but also I put Mission Impossible. Also in anticipation of the coming last one, which I really hope is good. But I think I didn't watch Part 1 Dead Reckoning I mentioned, but the previous ones before that I thought were consistent. They usually didn't try to do something. They try to keep it exciting and new and fresh, but still keeping their signature stuff. And I think I'm just looking forward to the last one. But yeah, they've been consistent. I think they've been really good, and it's hard to keep a franchise strong like that too. Yeah, with actors coming back to do the same type of movie all the time, to keep it fresh is hard. So that's on my list.
That's a good one. Yeah, the thing is, so you mentioned this one in 2023, right? As the best.
The 20. No, is that Dead Reckoning?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so I didn't see that one. So it would actually be either. Shoot. The one before that, was it Rogue Nation?
Oh,
maybe?
okay, yeah.
Oh, no. Or was it Fallout?
Fallout is 20,
Fallout.
yeah.
It was Fallout, yes. Fallout was the one before that.
Sorry, yeah. So
that one was really good.
yeah. So yeah, I like Fallout 2. Do you remember 3 itself, Mission Impossible 3?
Ooh,
No, I don't remember that one either.
I think I do. That's the one with the rabbit's foot or something. Do you remember something called the rabbit's foot?
Right. Does it start off with him climbing a mountain? And does it have a horse? There's a horse race there, at a derby gambling.
No, that was Mission Impossible 2. I think that was 2.
Okay, that's 2. Okay, Mission Impossible 3. I think that may be one of the best of the things. Let me
Is
have
that the one where didn't his? Is that the one where his wife supposedly dies, but then actually doesn't? But
no, I think that's you're thinking of Ghost Protocol.
Oh, really? Okay.
The wife dies.
No, but she gets shot or something. Oh no! Or she was wearing. You know how they have those disguise masks?
Right.
I think somebody was interrogating Tom Cruise and was holding his wife at gunpoint and then shot her to try to get information from him. But then he finds out it's not his wife because it was a mask over some other girl.
Oh, I'm completely
There's a
wrong then. You're right. Two is the one, and three is. Oh, I know three. Three is when I was in high school with he slides down those big towers. The action scene where he's sliding down that tower that has the incline.
okay.
Right. And then
Which one?
four is
Okay, yeah,
Ghost Protocol, and then five
yeah.
is Rogue Nation, and then six is Fallout.
Fallout.
Okay, so no, three. I don't think anyone liked three. I think I remember that three. His wife gets shot. Yeah, yeah.
So
It
maybe you're
starts.
thinking two.
Yeah, I was thinking of two. Two is really really good with the.
Yeah, two. Yeah, two
Yeah,
was cool.
two is super cool. I don't like Ghost Protocol. I never saw Rogue Nation. I really love Fallout, and I'm really hoping Final Reckoning is good.
Yeah, I'm hoping that too, for sure.
Cool. Okay, let me run through some here because I think you have three left, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
And
Or
I
actually, let's
have
say two. I think one of them is kind of so let's say two.
okay. So you have two left, and I have seven.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so I would say I think Spider-Man 3 from the Raimi trilogy. I put it at worst. I think I've been
Okay.
swayed by the consensus. I actually quite liked it, similar to Pirates of the Caribbean. At World's End or whatever.
Yeah.
They had both come out that year.
Right.
Yeah,
I
they had
forgot
both.
about that one too.
Yeah, there was a huge summer. It was a huge kind of spring. I would say I like. I would say I really enjoyed Spider-Man 3, but I've heard it's the worst. So it just kind of again tears apart the character, goes in a different way. Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on. I think X-Men
I enjoyed
Apocalypse.
it too. Sorry.
Sorry?
Keep going. I just said I enjoyed that one too, like Spider-Man 3, despite what
Okay.
people say.
Yeah, okay. So you would say it's best for you. Okay.
I mean, it was. I'd still like the first, I think, one more, but I thought I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Spider-Man 3, like the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah.
I would say I think How to Train Your Dragon 3 was not good. If the one where the dragon finds a love, and I think How to Train Your Dragon 2 was good with the whole the plot there with the mom and all, but How to Train Your Dragon 3, I thought it was just like a kind of direct to DVD kind of movie. And to end off my worst, I'll go with honestly, X-Men Apocalypse, which was the third movie of the X-Men Origins, Days of Future Past, the reboots from 2011 to 2016. Apocalypse was really really bad. It was just meandering. It had some horrible cut scenes with the Jennifer final scenes, climactic scenes, CGI. I remember going to VIP for another movie, and then one of the VIP servers was like, "Okay, don't say that you hate Apocalypse because I really love it." I'm like, "Nope, I hate it. I hated Apocalypse." Because she had seen me at Apocalypse for VIP, and then I
Yeah.
went another Tuesday for half price VIP, and I was
Oh, okay.
ordering food, and she was there again. She's like, "Oh, how did you find it? Don't tell me you hate it." I'm like, "I hated it," and that's what they made. They made them reboot, like Stop X-Men reboot, like with the Logan and all that, and also they did that TV show for a bit as well, that
Okay.
Legend or something, Legion. Anyway, that's
Oh,
for the
okay.
worst, and then to
Okay.
you have you said two, right?
Yeah.
All right, let me give you the floor for the two.
Oh, yeah. So you have 3 left, is it?
I have in the good ones. I have four actually.
Oh, 4 left. Okay. All good. I'll do one. I'll do my worst first then, because I think I have one each in each category. So I don't know if you've seen the original trilogy, but I put in The Mummy. And this is kind of an interesting one because, I really liked the first. Actually, the first two, I found them entertaining. That's The Mummy, the Brendan Fraser ones, and I think there were 3, but the third one was spaced apart very long. but I still consider it a trilogy because I think they marketed it as one. Um, but yeah, like there's like The Mummy Returns. That's the first two, and I found them, just like fun, just very fun action movies. Like my whole family kind of like actually really enjoyed that movie, and for some reason it's something I actually like rewatched a number of times just because of how fun it is. And then there's a third one called The Mummy Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. I think that's what it's called.
Oh, Jet Li.
Yes, with Jet Li, and oh my gosh. Okay, so like they took that franchise. First of all, they replaced the main girl in it with some other girl, which like was like half the movie already. Like she was so important. Like just her as an actress was like key to like the image of the mummy. So already her missing was like a recipe for like disaster, just because the other girl was so likable. And then they just like they did really weird things with this mummy that was no longer a mummy. It was just looks like some magician. So it was like it was not a mummy anymore. It was a magician, and it was like they did this weird relationship thing with like Brendan Fraser and his son. Like son's grown up, and like they have this weird relationship. They like argue, but then obviously they have to like work together, and it was kind of like cheesy in that way. Even though the first two were cheesy, but in a fun way. There's a way to do cheesy in a fun way, and one that's like a little more cringe. And the last one was just kind of more cringe. Like it was just, yeah, it was unfortunate. So I just put that in there because I do really like the first ones, and it's like it's not a very popular franchise, I don't think, but to me, like I just enjoyed, and I don't know how many people have seen it, but the last one was just, you know, yeah.
Yeah, and also like I don't. I also like like the first Mummy is a classic. Scorpion King is really nice. I
Yes,
do.
yeah.
Yeah, I do. I'm not sure if I remember this Jet Li one, but maybe. But then also there was that Mummy with Tom Cruise, which was completely a requel.
Yeah, it was completely different, yeah.
But yeah, I have nothing much to say about it. I fully agree with you. So yeah, let's go with your last one.
Okay, the last one. And I was like trying to think about like different ones because I feel like I talked about this franchise for a bit. But you know what? I'll bring it out one more time. And one of the best, the last movies is John Wick, because I just really liked the last John Wick. It ended the story really well. I thought it was like just maintaining that character of John Wick and painting him in this way, and then I don't know, just I think it just did a lot of things well. The action never let up. I love Donnie Yen. He was a cool addition to that, and yeah, just kind of like finishing his story after like he's journeyed through so much. Like I just had to put that in there.
Nice one, John Wick's for
Mm.
sure. Yeah. Um, Moving on to my last four. Dark Knight Rises.
Mm.
I didn't like it in the first, in the beginning, but after watching it again, I was like, oh, it's a rather long movie, but it's an interesting movie. It has a lot of plot holes and weird stuff that makes it a little bit more, comic booky rather than serious.
Mm.
Which Dark Knight is very hard to follow up. But
Yeah.
I liked it. I liked it when you watch it back again. There's a lot of cool things and all that. So yeah. Another one I liked, which is campy, is Godzilla versus Kong: The New Empire. I thought that
Mm.
was a lot of fun and
Mm.
very fantastical kind of monster movie.
Okay.
That kind
Mm.
of adds to the big franchise of the Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah.
For Star Wars, I have both good and bad. I would say like I don't like Rise of the Skywalker, the final movie, because of all the plot holes and the mess there. But I do like Revenge of the Sith a lot.
Mm.
So I'm biased in that way, but yeah, I really like Revenge of the Sith a lot. And I think you might agree with this one. And Rush Hour 3,
Hmm.
classic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. By the way, anything to say for Star Wars, Revenge of the Sith, The Rise of Skywalker, anything for Godzilla, Kong, Dark Knight Rises? Any thoughts there?
Yeah. No, those are good ones.
Mm.
So, well, for Star Wars, I haven't seen Revenge of the Sith. I can't really comment on that.
Mm.
For the more recent ones, like Episode 7, 8, and 9, I also have not seen Rise of Skywalker. I
Mm-hmm.
watched the first two, Force Awakens and Last Jedi, and I really liked them. And then for some reason, I just didn't get to the last one yet. I've heard mixed things about it, so so I'm not surprised if it's not as good. But I've heard some people really like it, so not sure about that one. For wait, I was about to say which one? You said
Sorry, I
sorry.
said the Godzilla Kong New Empire. I'm assuming you didn't. You probably didn't
Yeah,
see
Godzilla
that one.
Kong. Yeah, okay, so that one, I'm actually surprised that you like it that much because I actually enjoyed it, but I've also heard kind of mixed things about it.
Yeah.
But personally, I did like the just the like you're saying the fantastical part of it, like the just the grand scale of it and bringing together Kong and Godzilla to work together again. I thought it was that was cool. Yeah, it was fun. I thought it was cool. Um, and I wouldn't say this best one. I think I liked some of the previous ones a little bit more. But yeah, cool addition. It was a cool addition. Um, Dark Knight Rises. I think I do agree with that one. I did enjoy that one. It's been a while, so my memory's a little foggy on that one. But that one, I think I did enjoy. So yeah, no, it made sense. It's cool. You touched on ones that I forgot, so it was good. Hmm.
And then Rush Hour, of course, like
Uh,
so much to say about that from my end, with the the action and the fun and the kind of innuendo jokes and the you know it was a different time. It was, I think, 2007, so simpler times and simpler movies, that are funny enough probably be considered problematic these days, but almost had a cartoony feel to it. Kind of the Rush Hour series is kind of the final end of the 90s, kind of Lethal Weapon type of movies, kind of buddy cop movies, kind of the final kind of,
yeah.
thing.
Mm,
Um,
yeah. Yeah. Like I think for Rush Hour 3, I did enjoy it. I think I enjoyed it the least out of the first two, though. I gotta say. I
definitely the
remember
least, yeah.
I yeah, I remember I found like the first one, the second one like funny. The third one's I don't know. I think it was something to do with like I think the jokes just didn't land when I watched it, so I didn't find it as like funny. Like I wasn't quite as entertained by like the jokes. I think that was one of the main things. Not even a big deal, but it just the jokes just didn't land, and then I found it like oh okay. Like some of the I remember like there were good action scenes and stuff like that. Um, but I remember like everyone was laughing about how funny the scene with like there's a dojo and there's like all these Asian people. And he's like, "Oh, who are you?" And he's like, "I'm you." And
Mm-hmm.
then I never understood that until I had to like I saw some meme with subtitles. Then I understood like what they were trying to do. But even then, I was like, "Oh, that was kind of really random." Like like I didn't understand it with no subtitles.
That's what I mean by the problematic part. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah, but so it was like fun. Yeah, it's just that I like the first two more. But
yeah.
it
Oh
was
yeah, the first
it
two
was
is a
all
lot of
right. It
fun.
was fun.
First two is a lot of fun.
Mm.
And yeah, can you any other kind of final franchises? I brought up Lethal Weapon, but I barely remember them. Um, there's a bunch. Like in the 90s, there was a lot. Like, I mean, Terminator.
Yeah, there's so many. Yeah.
Terminator. We completely,
Oh yeah, yeah,
I think
Terminator.
it's
You mentioned Harry Potter before too.
Harry Potter. The
Um,
worst. Deathly Hallows 2 is the worst. And then Terminator. I never watched. I think it's called Genesis.
oh, I think I watched Genesis.
I think Terminator 3 is called. Oh, it's Rise of the Machines. Sorry. Genesis is the new one, I think.
Mm,
2015 film. Yeah, the one with the Latina actor.
yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Sorry,
Okay.
no,
Yeah,
that's the
yeah,
one
yeah.
with Emilia Clarke. My bad. What's
Oh,
the
Amelia, yes,
sorry?
I've seen that one.
What's the
The one with
new
Amelia Clark.
Terminator? Terminator 5. What's
Mm.
the Terminator 6? Wait, what's Terminator? Oh, Dark Fate. What's Terminator 4?
Oh man, there's so many.
Oh, there's a Terminator
Terminator
4.
Salvation, maybe.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Um,
man, you brought up so many. Like, there's other ones that I think are like also bad. I don't know how to say if it's worse, but there's like bad ones and good ones. Like like Jurassic World.
oh, Jurassic World.
Uh,
Yeah, we didn't like that one, the third
yeah,
one.
I didn't like the last one, but I think the original Jurassic Park. There were I don't know if there were three or
Yeah,
more,
Jurassic
but
Park 3. That one is
the
cool.
original ones were good. Um,
That one is cool. Definitely. Um, yeah, you brought up some. Yeah. What about
yeah,
Child's
yeah.
Play? Child's Play
Child's
3?
Play. I don't think I've seen Child's Play 3, so
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
know. Yeah, like, now you bring up all the slashers. What about Halloween? What about Friday the
Yeah.
13th? You know, like
Actually, I liked Halloween Ends. Halloween Ends was a good ending to the new Halloween.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Friday. I don't think we've seen anything after Freddy versus Jason for Nightmare on Elm Street, unless there's been a reboot for Nightmare. I think Freddy versus Jason is like the last. Um, yeah, just to go back to
Maybe.
Child's Play 3 takes place in an army thing. And fun fact,
Ah.
it actually pissed off a lot of Americans in the
Oh.
90s to see like army, in a cantonment, like in an army base being killed by a doll.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
it's not looked on fondly in pop culture
Hmm.
history for Americans.
Yeah.
Child's Play 2, I don't recall what that
Hmm.
one is, but
Hmm.
Child's Play 3 is
Oh, okay.
the army one. It's when movies used to like go to different like go to space and stuff. So they would take the character and then they would like um, go to different places.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's kind of
Ah.
like that. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, like you take a guy and then you send him to different Chucky in space type of thing and stuff like that.
Yeah, it starts to get like kind of campy and interesting,
Right,
funny.
right.
Um.
It's like a fun kind of. Actually, let me just double check
Uh,
for the army thing.
okay. Actually, while you check that, I'll throw out another two good ones
Go
that
for
I
it.
like. I would say both like the Rockies and also Creed. So
Okay.
Creed 3 I thought was really good. I like the whole series. I didn't see all the Rockies. I think I've maybe only seen one, and I think that was the latest one. I think it's called Rocky Balboa.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But also, similar feel, like inspirational, like uplifting. Rocky has a good history, so I would say yeah. But especially Creed though, because those ones I have seen and I did like. So the trilogy is good.
Yeah, I think like Rock. So I have not seen any of the Rockies. And also Die Hard, by the way. Die Hard. The
Die Hard.
the
Okay.
the, the
Yeah.
Die Hard
That's a good.
3
Mm.
and everything like that. I don't know. There's one called Die Harder. I don't know which one that is.
Is that the second one? No. Or no.
Right.
Or
That's
third one? Maybe it's hard to know. I don't even know.
is Die
I have to
Hard
look that
2
up.
called Die Harder. Die Hard 2, also known by Thailand Die Harder. Yeah. So Die Hard 3 is called Die Hard with a Vengeance, and then I only remember seeing the final Die Hard in 2006 or whatever, and it was like nothing like Die Hard. It was like a mid 2000s movie, almost like a Bourne or Mission Impossible. By the way, Bourne,
Mm. Oh,
Bourne's.
Born. Okay. Yep. Yeah. Of
But
course.
sorry, you were saying something about before I mentioned Die Hard Creed. So I don't. I think Creed 3 with the Jonathan Majors, it just
Mm.
gets more like he keeps getting beat up, but he comes back kind of thing. Like his body gets destroyed, but it's just kind of like it becomes
Yeah.
more super heroic. And I haven't seen the original Rockies, but I assume they are not as superheroic as the the Michael B. Jordan ones. And so yeah, and man, yeah, you brought up some great ones. Actually, we missed out on a bunch, but we could probably go forever um, on these kind of movies and this kind of franchise stuff. Um, what is one advice you would give to anyone trying to end a franchise with the third movie or with a you know last movie? What would you say?
What would I? Oh, that's a hard one because yeah, I'm not a filmmaker.
Yeah.
I guess as someone who's like watching something, like what am I looking for as a viewer? Um,
Would you like bringing back old characters and settling things? Would you like a happy ending for the characters? Would you like the story to continue in like an ambiguous way? Would you like a more adventurous movie or a more similar to the past movies? Yeah, that kind of stuff.
mm, okay. So, but that depends on. See, that depends on the series.
Yeah, that's true.
Like because when you talk about like something that's more predictable, like let's say like a Rocky or a Creed, I would say you don't want to. Like, I personally wouldn't want to go too far from the original ones. Like
Right.
you want to keep it like it's a boxing movie. Keep
Right.
it a boxing movie.
Right.
But if it's something that's of a huge scale, like a Marvel movie, then it makes sense to try to do kind of more experimental things.
More. Right. Right.
So it's hard to say. I think as a viewer, I don't know. I'm looking to be surprised.
Okay.
So I think don't make it too predictable. So that's why it's hard for me to say what I'm looking for because I want to see something surprising for sure, like something fresh and surprising, but also don't lose yourself. Don't lose what it is.
Mm.
And yeah, I like the idea of bringing back old characters if they can still be made relevant.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like that because it plays on like the nostalgia of it. So I would say like yeah, in a final movie, I would also say yeah, make it nostalgic. Play to the emotions people want to feel. So I would want to feel like in a final movie, I want to be like gripped and make me cry, make me laugh. I want to feel emotions. Yeah, but I also want to see. I also want to be surprised. So, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well said. Well said. Yeah. Any thoughts on your list today? You feel good about it, and yeah. Great.
I felt pretty solid in the ones we brought up. I think there's probably a lot more that if people bring up, I'd be like, oh, I forgot this one, So there's just so many.
Truly, it's
And
such a huge.
there's a lot that I haven't seen, so I couldn't add to my list. Like we talked about. So like
Oh yeah.
yeah, even this even considering like animations, right? If we consider like cartoons, then like Toy Story I heard was really good, and I haven't seen the
Story.
latest ones, and so it's just there's a lot of ones I haven't seen, so it was hard to try to narrow, but it was fun. It was fun trying to gather all these together.
Right. Right. Great.
How
Okay.
about you?
Yeah. For me, yeah. What I would say, yeah, I would say like yeah, I'm good with the list. I would say like it's really subjective, but and it just shows the breadth of franchises and like the ability to stick the landing or completely mess up what came before. The ability to do so well that it introduces you to a universe, or do so badly that you kind of just have a bad taste in your mouth. So that's kind of what I looked, and what I would say to filmmakers, yeah, like surprise me. Pick a way you want to go. If you want to go adventurous, go for it, and keep doors open. If you want to be family friendly, if you want to be nostalgic, go for it. But still keep it a little bit fresh. You can bring back characters, but play them in a fresh way, and almost treat it like an episode of Saturday morning cartoon, because Ant-Man 3 was that 2? Ant-Man 2 was very good. It was like a Saturday morning cartoon. It was a really good sequel to Ant-Man. And then Ant-Man 3 is Quantumania, which was very not good. Similar was Thor The Dark World wasn't good, but the other one was good.
Ragnarok. Yeah, the third
Ragnarok.
one.
And then Ragnarok was good, the third one, and then the other one came out after was horrible, or even Doctor Strange. I don't know if that was two or one. I think that was two. Doctor Strange two, right? Multiverse.
Right. Is that the Multiverse of Madness?
Yeah, it was a
That one?
horrible.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to learn and a lot to, and again, depends on your franchise, depends on the tone, but don't look at the money. I would say look at, like, focus test it. Look at what people are looking for, because something hangs in the balance. So you need to respect your own creation that came before,
Mm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well said.
Well, thank you, and well said. And yeah, so that brings us to the conclusion. Auditorium 25 February, the best, the worst, and the maybes of the trilogy or final film or most recent or latest film in a franchise.